Hello and welcome to DJ Exotics. I'm David and this is Twinkle, and today we're going to be talking about how to choose your corn snake. Before we get started, 2 bits of housekeeping. Number 1, we are animal led, so if Twinkle here has had enough, we'll be putting her back, getting one of our other corn snakes out. Number 2, please remember to like, share and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, let's get on with it. So, how do you choose your first pet corn snake? It's a very important question because this corn snake can live with you for up to 20 years and you're going to be taking care of it, so you're going to have to really choose one that is going to be one that you're going to love. It's not just about choosing a snake. So there are many things that you need to think about. And the other thing to also do is also to choose a corn snake that is healthy, you know, getting it from the right supplier, the right breeder, the right pet shop. So the first thing to think about is the gender. Now this isn't about the personality really, or the whether or not it gets bigger or smaller, because they generally stay about the same size. Our males are actually bigger than our females. But that's not to say that could be the case. There have been some females which have been absolutely bigger than our male is. So really size isn't that much of a thing when it comes to gender. And personality can be quite different. For instance, Twinkle here is an absolute sweetheart. She just sits on your hand and she'll just move about and doesn't show any kind of defensiveness whatsoever. But it's the same with Gumball, and he's a very good boy who will just sit on your hands. Both male and females can be exactly like that. It's all about personality. So the gender really isn't an issue unless of course you're looking to breed. The next thing to think about is the age. Ideally you want to get a corn snake that isn't too young, that it hasn't learnt to climatise or socialise, but not too old that it's got used to its surroundings. Now there are some exceptions to this. You can get some corn snakes which have been very well socialised very early on or natural. So a lot of Twinkle's babies are socialised almost from hatch. They're very good. Others need a little bit more training from Flora. But other corn snakes can sometimes not be as well socialised or be absolutely socialised from the beginning from other breeders as well. And it's all just about the individual again. The thing with getting them too old is that if they are full grown, you don't really know how old they are unless of course you can trust the breeder or the pet shop. And that can be sometimes a problem. I have come across people who have purchased their corn snake or even other snakes. A house snake comes to mind, which they were told was a baby, and it turns out to be an older one that's been a breeder before and had a few years breeding and has now been retired, and they've been told it was a baby when they purchased it online. And that's one of the things to consider, is that whether or not you can see the snake in person. If you can't, there are ways around this. So you can ask for a video or a photo of the animal itself, and that can be quite a good way. We offer that if you want to have a video or a photo of the snake and you're not nearby. We will accommodate you there and we will send you that. The other thing you've got to think about is that health. So you're looking at the snake. When you're looking at a snake, the main features that you're looking at is whether or not it's got any stuck shed on it, and whether or not with a corn snake it's moving around fairly. So you notice that Twinkle here is exploring, she's using her tongue to smell the air, and that generally means that she's in good health and in good personality. She's going to be nice and calm. If you're looking at a snake that can't be held, so if you can't go and see it, ask for a picture of the snake in the hand. That can often demonstrate how good the animal is at being handled and how socialised it is. It can also demonstrate kind of like the health. You're also looking at kind of how big it is in comparison to, say, a person's hand. The thing is that it's very easy to hide the size of a snake when you're using very plain backgrounds. So there are scams out there. You have to be careful for them, but you can take certain measures, such as just being a little bit cautious and asking questions. The next thing, and this is probably the most important, and we're going to cover quite a lot of it, and that's about the morph that you're choosing. Now the morph relates to the colour or the patterning of your snake, and corn snakes come in a wide variety of morphs. So Twinkle here is an amel, which is an albino gene, along with tessera. Now she also has het stripe in her and het anery, but you can't actually see these. If you're a breeder, those are important, those hets. But if you aren't looking to breed, but you just want a nice colour, then you are looking at what kind of colorations you get. And corn snakes can have all kinds of colours, so you can get very naturalistic ones, California. You also get snows, aneries, stripes, tessera, normal, the saddleback things, and choosing the one that you like best can be very, very important. And they can come in all kinds of combinations. So you can get some. So we have Flora, who is what's known as a butter stripe, because she is an amel caramel, both of which are recessive genes, so they've had to have the copy in both the parents. But she's also a stripe, which again is another recessive gene, and she's also het anery, so she's got quite a lot of genes in her. When it comes to Gumball, Gumball's got 17 genes. I can't even remember them all. He's got tessera, het stripe, anery, het amel, caramel, toffee, ultra. He's got quite a few different genes in him, and that's why we can make so many different combinations here at DJL Exotics, because all of his females also have a combination of those genes. But you're looking for a snake that you're going to like. Now, a lot of people do go for ones like the snow, but there are others who like more naturalistic colours, Californian kind of colours, or can even go for the anery, which is a very striking black and white snake, which looks absolutely stunning. And choosing that is a very personal choice, but you can go online and you can search our website, and we've got several different varieties available, different morphs. But you can also go to places like Morph Market, where you get loads of different types of corn snakes. Now, the one that I would not suggest is for scaleless. The reason for that is that it's a corn snake which has no scale, so it's missing its outer protection layer, and that can mean that in captivity that it's more prone to tears in the skin or little cuts, which can lead to infection. I know there are numerous people that breed for scaleless, and there's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just something that I would recommend to stay away from, because there is that additional risk for corn snake. However, if that is something that you like the smoother texture, then certainly do shop around, make sure that you get one from someone who has a lot of knowledge about scaleless and is breeding them properly and can demonstrate good bloodlines. It is a gene which I wouldn't recommend, but by all means. They also are more expensive. The next thing is cost. There are some morphs which are more expensive when you go to pet shops. At DJL Exotics, we don't actually do that. All our morphs are exactly the same price when it comes to corn snakes, as well as with our leopard geckos. And that's because it's hard to tell families or children specifically that they can't have one snake because it's 3 times the price of the other one. So we've averaged it out. Not a lot of pet shops do that. They have it so you could have a snow, which could be £120 compared to a normal, which could be about £30. And you can get prices up to 300, 350. They're more the scaleless variety, but there are some. There are some morphs to watch out for that can cause eye problems. Obviously, search online for which morphs those are. But Pimento, I believe, is one of it, if that's how you pronounce it. It's again morphs which we don't actually have here. We stick very close to the amel, anery, with the snows, the stripes, and the tessera, with the caramel and toffee, and we have a few extra genes mixed in there. Then you've just got to see how the animal reacts to you. Now, a lot of people think a snake is a snake, but I've actually noticed that snakes can react very differently to different people. So Twinkle is not a very good example of that, because she just loves everyone and she will just handle with everyone equally the same. But you do get ones like our anery female, Shelby, who hates certain people, doesn't like to come out for certain people, handles okay with me, handles better with other people. Is just generally one of those snakes which has will assess you and then will judge about who you are and whether or not they like you. And that can be the same with baby snakes, and that's why if you can get yourself here, if you want to choose one from us, and we allow an hour to spend with the babies to find ones which you like, the colour of, the pattern of, but also that like you personally, and that can be quite an interesting combination to look at. The other thing to also consider is where you're purchasing it from. Can they tell you the history? Can they tell you the parents? Can they tell you what morphs are there? Can they tell you any health concerns they've got with it? Can they tell you the basic care requirements? Remember to go through those care requirements with the shop or the place that you're purchasing from. Check that they're aligned with the care, and if you want to check with the care video for the concepts, it's just up there. We've also got how you can build your first baby corn snake enclosure, which is also up there. And remember to do those first, but check with the shop that they're giving you the right information. Apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like, share, comment on video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and goodbye for now.